Hi everyone, my name is Mary Redmond and I wanted to talk about a possibility for a pound dollar trade this week. And I like this just for a couple of simple reasons. It's still in its rising trend channel. I don't think this is going to be an opportunity to short it for a big move down. But the pound dollar pair did make a big spike up out of its Bollinger Bands trading range. And it's kind of at the top of its trading channel. And I think that there's going to be an opportunity to short it this week, probably around the 65 or possibly at a spike a little bit higher than that, maybe if it spikes up again to around 65.50. And of course we've got two big events coming up this week for the pound as well as for the US dollar. There's the British pound GDP number, which is coming out on Wednesday, the same day as the US Fed meeting. And the pound is expected to show the UK economy is expected to show a slight increase. Last quarter it actually contracted 0.5%, so it's supposed to show an increase of 0.5%. It may be a little bit higher, it may be a little bit lower. It's not very likely to increase to 2 or 3% growth right away, but the market may start pricing in the fact that the Bank of England is going to have to start raising rates soon. So you've got that situation, and you also have the Fed meeting on Wednesday and then a press conference with Chairman Bernanke afterward. Well, the Fed meetings are usually bullish for the dollar, and this may be a Fed meeting at which they change their stance from ultra dovish. They've really been dovish on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the max. They've really been at a 10. If they scale it down to a 7 or an 8, then the market might react with a positive move towards the dollar. And they've also probably at this meeting, since this is the last meeting before the quantitative easing program is scheduled to end, they may very well come out and say that they plan to continue this program, and then following that they'll assess the situation and determine what's best at that time. So the dollar's really been in a strong downward trend, and when you hear a lot of news, you hear a lot of chatter about people talking of, well, you know, the dollar's just going to keep going down in a perpetual decline, and the dollar's losing its status as the reserve currency, which really isn't happening, because over the last 7 years there's only been a slight decrease in the dollars that are held as reserve currencies. I mean, they're still 63% of the world's $10 trillion reserve assets are held in dollars. So that's not really what's going on. It's just kind of another market approaching capitulation, and I think we're probably in the 8th or 9th inning of this downward trend in the dollar. But I wouldn't necessarily want to call a top in the pound. I wouldn't necessarily say that the trend is going to change this week. I just think it's going to be good for a good move down followed by another move up. And you can look at a delta chart of the pound, and delta uses a timing tool based on the past pattern of what this particular pair likes to do at a certain time in the cycle. And it's possible that we made a move up this week according to the expectations, and that we're just due for a move down. I mean, the pound spiked up according to the trading pattern at this point in the cycle, and it's due to make a spike down this week. So the key is going to be the timing, of course. And it's always hard with these type of events coming up because nobody ever knows what's going to happen, and there could be very low liquidity, and of course you might get into a position and you wouldn't be able to get out right away because there's not always somebody there to take the opposite side of the trade. So I'm thinking that I would be interested in shorting it just slightly above the 165 level, if it were to go slightly above that, and putting a stop around 166, and then hoping to close the position probably by Friday or next Monday of next week, because of course the pound is still in an upward trend. It's one of the strongest currencies on the board. It's in a strong upward trend against the dollar, and I don't think that's going to continue forever, but probably we're going to have to see the end of the quantitative easing before this upward trend changes, and that's not going to happen for another month. So I'm just going to keep an eye on this pair and listen to the news, and I think this pair offers a good opportunity for a quick short this week.